stop whatever you are doing, sit down, and pay very close attention. Because what we are about to unpack today is not just another celebrity gossip story. This is a real-time psychological thriller playing out in front of millions of people. We are witnessing the absolute peak, and potentially the breaking point, of the biggest female rapper on the planet. We are talking about the era of Cardi B that the history books are going to study. An era defined by unprecedented, record-breaking global success, but shadowed by extreme, terrifying darkness behind closed doors. Right now, the internet is completely obsessed with the glamorous side of the Little Miss Drama tour. They see the sheer outfits, the sold-out arenas, the pyrotechnics, and the viral moments. But what they don't see, what the industry is actively trying to sweep under the rug, is the absolute chaos that is dismantling her personal life piece by piece. In the span of just a few months, Cardi B has secretly navigated a high-profile pregnancy with an NFL superstar, birthed her fourth child, and broken up right before the Super Bowl. She has been the victim of a brazen, coordinated $60,000 credit card heist executed while she was literally on stage performing. And if that wasn't enough to push someone over the edge, she is now dealing with the explosive fallout of a violent casino shooting in South Florida. A shooting that left the father of her first children, Offset, hospitalized in a wheelchair, while Bronx drill rapper Lil Tjay walks out of a Broward County jail cell screaming to the cameras that Offset is a rat. Are you starting to see the full picture yet? The pressure is mounting. The walls are closing in. And for the first time in her entire career, Cardi B went live on Instagram not to troll, not to promote a single, but to issue a desperate, terrifying confession about the suffocating reality of her fame. Today, we are ripping the curtain wide open. We are going to analyze the footage the labels don't want you analyzing. We are going to break down the timeline of Stefon Diggs, the arrest of Lil Tjay, the Jersey thieves who stole her kids' money, and the undeniable truth about what it actually costs to wear the crown in the music industry. Lock in. Do not skip a single second of this video, because the truth about the Little Miss Drama tour is much darker than you ever imagined. To truly understand the mental state of Cardi B right now, we have to look at the sheer scale of the machine she is currently operating. We have to rewind to February 2026, the kickoff of the Little Miss Drama tour. This wasn't just a regular run of shows to promote her sophomore album, Am I the Drama? This was a statement of absolute dominance. For years, critics on Twitter, rival fan bases, and even shadowy executives in boardroom meetings questioned if Cardi B had the stamina to pull off a 35-concert international headlining arena tour. They called her a singles artist. They doubted her catalog. Well, she didn't just prove them wrong. She rewrote the history books. Cardi became the first female rapper in history to sell out 2 consecutive nights at the massive Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. We are talking about a 37-song set list. We are talking about her literally being suspended from the ceiling above tens of thousands of screaming fans. She brought out Glorilla, Kalani, Tyler, Megan Thee Stallion, and Fetty Wap. She even debuted the brutal diss track Pretty and Petty, completely shifting the landscape of female rap beef. From a pure business perspective, she was untouchable. But when you climb to the absolute highest peak of the mountain, the air gets very thin. You start to realize that nobody else is up there with you. When the pyrotechnics are shut off, when the floating platform is lowered, and when the 20,000 fans go home to their normal lives, Cardi B has to return to a reality that is completely devoid of normalcy. And that devastating realization culminated in one of the most raw, unfiltered, and deeply concerning Instagram live sessions she has ever broadcasted. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't playing a character. She was a woman realizing that she had become an entity that she could no longer control. Listen very closely to what she admits right here.
I never really did a tour before, like a real big tour like this before. And I did it, and this tour has like literally changed my life. Like it has elevated me to another level in life and success in this industry, in the way that like, it's like, yeah, the people are talking, but the industry is talking. When I'm talking about the industry, I'm not talking about music artists. I'm talking about the people with the money. Like, they just cannot believe that this little bitch is, like, it's like, yo, I sold out 32 shows. 32 shows back to back. There hasn't been one show that hasn't been sold out. And it's just like the super stardom is getting so big that it almost kind of scares me, because I feel like it's a little bit overwhelming. Like everywhere I go, it's just like a crowd of people waiting for me. Like I have buffed up securities in my crib and everything, because it's like, all right, like it's like shit is getting like too scary, too potent. And it also makes me feel like it's like, so damn, what's gonna be next? Like I do want to take a break, but it's like now that I'm in the moment and I'm in the momentum, it's like I feel like, should I take a little break, or should I crank back up and just work again and everything?
Let's pause and deeply analyze what we just witnessed, because there are layers to this confession that most casual viewers completely missed. First, pay attention to the exact phrasing she uses. When I'm talking about the industry, I'm not talking about music artists. I'm talking about the people with the money. Like they just cannot believe that this little bitch is good. This is the ultimate vindication, but it's laced with a deep-rooted anxiety. In the music business, when the people with the money, the investors, the promoters, the Live Nation executives, start looking at you differently, your entire life changes. You go from being an entertainer to being a multi-million-dollar corporate asset. And being an asset means you are constantly surrounded by people who rely on your physical exhaustion to feed their families. She said she sold out 32 shows back-to-back. Do you comprehend the physical toll of performing a high-intensity 2-hour hip-hop show every single night, 32 times, with no slow nights? It breaks the human body. It fractures the human mind. But the most alarming part of that video is when she describes her own fame. The superstardom is getting so big that it almost kinda scares me. This is a tragic paradox of celebrity. Millions of people pray for fame every single day, completely oblivious to the fact that absolute fame is a prison sentence. She explicitly states that everywhere she goes, there's a crowd. There's no off switch. There's no quick run to the grocery store. There's no quiet dinner. She had to hire buffed up securities at her own house. Imagine lying in your own bed, in your own sanctuary, and knowing that there are armed guards patrolling your hallways just to ensure you survive the night. She describes the situation as getting too scary, too potent. And then comes a million-dollar question. What is going to be next? She is trapped in the momentum. If she takes a break, the industry moves on without her. The executives find a new shiny toy. But if she cranks back up, she risks a complete physical and mental collapse. She is asking her fans for permission to breathe. But as we are about to find out, the universe had no intention of letting her breathe. Because right at the height of this tour, right when she was at her most vulnerable and exhausted state, a group of criminals saw an opportunity. And they struck hard. When you are generating millions of dollars a week on a global stadium tour, your financial infrastructure is supposed to be impenetrable. You have business managers, accountants, and banking concierges monitoring every single transaction. But criminals are adapting, and they are becoming bolder. Sometime during the chaos of the tour, a massive security breach occurred in Cardi B's inner circle. Her American Express card details were compromised. Now, we aren't talking about someone stealing her card to buy a tank of gas. We are talking about a highly coordinated, high-speed luxury heist that took place right in New Jersey. Within the span of a single hour, 4 individuals managed to siphon an eye-watering $60,000 out of her account. Think about the sheer audacity required to execute this. According to the notifications that began flooding Cardi's phone, these individuals walked straight into a Saks Fifth Avenue and dropped $40,000 on designer goods. They didn't stop there. They immediately pivoted to an Apple store and dropped another $20,000 on high-end electronics. And the cherry on top of this disrespectful cake? They decided to sit down and have a nice meal using her money. They spent 3 hours living the ultimate celebrity lifestyle, entirely funded by the sweat and tears of a woman who was actively working on stage to provide for her family. When Cardi saw those notifications, the exhaustion we saw in the first video completely evaporated. The fear of superstardom vanished. What replaced it was pure, unadulterated, Bronx-bred fury. She didn't just file a police report and let her lawyers handle it behind closed doors. She weaponized her platform. She went live to millions of people, and she put a target directly on the backs of the thieves. Watch this.
It was in Jersey. If y'all fit this description, bitch, I'm talking about you. Is a short mother. You light skin like me. You bald with a beard. Then there's a tall bald with no beard. Then there's this light skin short He about by 5'5", skinny ass shit with all that nice Arab looking hair. You got mustache too. And then there's another one that he's kind of chubby. He looks mad Dominican with a gray jacket like this color. Bitch, you're going to jail. All four of y'all is going to jail. Niggas was in Saks shopping for 3 hours. Bitch, $1 can go missing out of my account, bitch. I don't give a how many fucking millions I got in that bitch missing. I got 4 kids, bitch. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fucking with my kids' money, bitch. It's bad for y'all. I'm letting y'all know it's bad for y'all. Y'all should have returned that. You know what's so crazy? If y'all had my credit card, y'all should have resent it to me. I would have gave y'all like $5,000 or $10,000. Y'all was having fun and shit and sex and shit with my shit for 3 hours straight. Then y'all wanted to go to Apple and shit. Oh, got something to eat too. Let me not find out where y'all live at. Because I'm going to have somebody beat the shit out of y'all. Word 2. And I'm gonna make them make y'all apologize on your knees like I command.
I need you to really process the intensity of that moment. You know, dos, tres, cuatro. She is counting her children. She is reminding the world that despite the private jets and the diamond chains, she operates with a primal instinct of a mother protecting her cubs. When you steal from a billionaire corporation, it's a write-off. When you steal from Cardi B, you are taking food out of the mouths of 4 children, and she views that as an act of war. Notice the terrifying level of detail she has. She isn't guessing. She has the surveillance footage. She describes their exact heights, their skin tones, their facial hair, the texture of their hair, and the exact color of their jackets. She essentially turned her Instagram live into a global wanted poster. You light-skinned like me. You bald with a beard, skinny as with all that nice Arab-looking hair, chubby, looks mad Dominican. She gave the internet a perfect physical description of 4 men who thought they had pulled off the perfect crime. But let's look at the psychology of her threat. Let me not find out where you'll live at, 'cause I'ma have somebody beat the out of y'all. And I'ma make them make y'all apologize on knees like I command. This isn't the corporate PR-trained response of a pop star. This is a raw, unfiltered reality of a woman who clawed her way out of the trenches. She even pointed out the sheer stupidity of the crime. She said if they had just found the card and returned it to her, she would have rewarded them with $5,000 or $10,000 in cash just for their honesty. Instead, they chose greed. And by choosing greed, they awakened a monster. This incident exposes a terrifying reality of her life. Even with buffed-up security, even with millions in the bank, she is constantly surrounded by vultures, people who see her not as a human being, but as an ATM machine. This level of constant paranoia, the need to always look over your shoulder, to monitor your own bank accounts while you're trying to entertain 20,000 people, it is enough to drive anyone insane. But incredibly, the $60,000 heist wasn't even the most stressful event of her month. Because while her credit cards were bleeding money in New Jersey, actual blood was spilling on the concrete in South Florida. And it involved a man who has been at the center of her life for almost a decade. It's time we talk about Offset, Lil Tjay, and the casino shootout that almost ended in absolute tragedy. The hip-hop industry has always had a dark, deeply intertwined relationship with violence. But when it spills over into the lives of A-list celebrities, the shockwaves are felt across the entire world. On a Monday night, the news cycle came to a dead, terrifying halt. Reports began leaking from law enforcement that a violent shootout had occurred near the valet area of the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And the victim being loaded into the ambulance and rushed to Memorial Regional Hospital was none other than former Migos superstar, Offset. Immediately, the internet went into a panic. Fans were flashing back to the tragic loss of Takeoff, fearing that the Migos legacy was about to suffer another catastrophic blow. A spokesperson rushed to release a statement that Offset was stable and being closely monitored, confirming he had sustained non-life-threatening injuries. But the relief was short-lived, because the details of what actually led to the gunfire began to emerge, and it painted a picture of pure chaos. This wasn't a random robbery. This was a result of a massive altercation. And squarely in the middle of this violence was prominent Bronx drill artist Lil Tjay. According to police reports, Lil Tjay was arrested at the scene and booked into the Broward County Jail, charged with a first-degree misdemeanor for disorderly conduct affray. The authorities allege that Tjay initiated the chain of events by directing his entourage to start a fight. But if you thought an arrest would humble Lil Tjay, you do not understand the sheer disrespect of the New York drill scene. Because upon his release, walking out of the jail completely shirtless with a $500 bond, Tjay didn't just deny being the shooter. He approached the waiting media cameras and launched a verbal nuke directly at Offset's reputation. He called Offset the most dangerous, unforgivable word you can call a man in the hip-hop community. He called him a rat.
Disorderly. Outside the casino, there's a fight near the outlet.
Smack the out of Offset. He would never play with me like that in his life.
Does somebody owe you money?
Ask Offset.
He owe you money?
Ask Offset.
We need to dissect this moment, frame by frame. Lil Tjay is standing in front of legal institutions, fresh out of handcuffs, publicly claiming that Offset, a multi-platinum veteran of the game, panicked after being shot and immediately started pointing fingers like a police informant. Yo, that N*** shot me. Tjay is mocking him. He is pantomiming fear. He is aggressively stating that he would physically assault Offset if given the chance, saying he would never play with me like that in his life. This is an unprecedented level of public disrespect. In the streets, calling someone a rat is a declaration of war. It is an attempt to completely destroy a man's credibility, his business relationships, and his legacy. Offset, lying in a hospital bed recovering from bullet wounds, couldn't even issue a proper video response. All he could do was take to the comment section of the Shade Room, typing out a weak, desperate defense. You ain't bust none. It was a tragic, hollow response from a man who used to dictate the culture. And if the comments weren't damaging enough, TMZ delivered the final, devastating blow. They published the first post-shooting footage of Offset. He wasn't dressed in Balenciaga. He wasn't wearing his diamond chains. He was in a standard-issue hospital gown, sitting slumped in a wheelchair outside the medical facility, having a smoke break. The image was haunting. It stripped away all the illusions of invincibility that rappers try to project. It showed a broken, vulnerable human being whose life was fundamentally altered in a casino parking lot. Now, put yourself in Cardi B's mind. You are traveling the world, trying to manage the overwhelming pressure of your own superstardom. You are dealing with criminals draining your bank accounts in New Jersey. And suddenly, your phone rings, and you are told that the father of your children has just been shot, is bleeding out in Florida, and is now the subject of a massive, viral internet war regarding his street credibility. It is a suffocating amount of stress. It is enough trauma to shatter a normal human psyche. But incredibly, through all of this darkness, through the robberies and the hospital visits, Cardi B was harboring a massive, world-altering secret of her own. A secret that would completely rewrite the narrative of her year and explain exactly why the Little Miss Drama tool was taking such an immense emotional toll on her body. It's time we pull back the curtain on Stefon Diggs, baby number 4, and the pregnancy rumors that are currently setting the internet completely on fire. To unravel the final, most complex layer of the Cardi B dossier, we have to travel back in time just a little bit. We have to understand the timeline, because the media has twisted this narrative so intensely that the truth has been almost completely buried. Rewind to mid-2025. Cardi B and Offset's relationship had deteriorated in the public eye. Fans were exhausted by the constant breakups and reconciliations. But then, a massive plot twist occurred. Cardi B quietly, secretly entered into a relationship with NFL superstar wide receiver, Stefon Diggs. For months, it was whispers and rumors. But in September 2025, Cardi sat down with Gayle King on CBS Mornings and dropped a nuclear bomb on the entertainment industry. She confirmed that she was pregnant with her 4th child, her first with Stefon Diggs. The logistics of this pregnancy were insane. She revealed on a podcast that she had to actively hide her growing belly from her own best friends, Ash Cash and Sweetness. They had made a pact for a legendary hot girl summer, full of private jets and tequila. Instead, Cardi was secretly drinking water and shopping for prenatal vitamins. In November of 2025, she gave birth to a baby boy, affectionately nicknamed Jersey by the internet in honor of Stefon's football career. So, she had the baby. The tour was booked. Everything seemed perfect. But then, in a shocking turn of events, just days before the 2026 Super Bowl, reports surfaced that Cardi and Stefon Diggs had quietly split. She was heading into the Little Miss Drama tour not just as a global superstar, but as a newly single mother of 4. Now, keep that timeline locked in your brain. She just gave birth in November. She just broke up in February. Now we jump to the present day on the tour. During her stop in Washington, D.C., the internet lost a collective mind because Stefon Diggs and his family were spotted in the VIP section supporting her. And despite the reported breakup, eyewitnesses confirmed that Cardi and Stefon left the official tour after-party together. And then, the very next night on stage, Cardi B decided to grab the microphone and play the most dangerous game of psychological warfare with her fan base. She stood in front of thousands of people and started actively joking about being pregnant. Again, watch this clip from the tour where she sends the blogs into a frenzy.
I'm the only light-skinned motherfucker in the bed. I like them dark like a motherfucking Pepsi. Girl, hold me up my back. I'm horny. Ooh. Well, I'm not gonna let me stop. Bitch, I might be pregnant. Let's keep the party going.
I might be pregnant. For words that completely shatter the internet. Now, look, we all know Cardi B is a master troll. She is a comedian at heart. She knows exactly what the blogs are going to run with. The immediate assumption from sensible fans was, she's just joking about the night she had with Stefon at the DC after-party. She's playing with us. She literally just had baby Jersey a few months ago. But Cardi never just leaves it at one joke. She feeds a machine. At a subsequent concert, she doubled down on the narrative. She started explicitly tying her music, her performances, and her romantic life into this complex web of hints and confessions. Watch what she says here about the origin of her hit songs.
When I wrote that song, I got pregnant. I used to have a married nigga that used to put me on my back. I might get put on my back tonight. Let's keep it.
The crowd eats it up, but it leaves us with a terrifying puzzle. Is she genuinely hinting at baby number 5? Or is this all an elaborate, highly calculated distraction to keep the media focused on her romantic life, rather than the dark realities of the credit card thefts and the Offset shooting? To make matters even more chaotic, a woman named Tiffany Ray suddenly entered the chat. Rumors had been swirling that Stefon Diggs had a massive amount of children, and blogs accused Tiffany Ray of being his elusive 8th baby mama. Tiffany took to the internet to furiously deny the allegations, claiming she had a baby years ago and is nobody's 8th baby mama. But internet detectives quickly pulled up her old post where she explicitly celebrated having a baby recently. It is a web of lies, deceit, and messy hip-hop drama that Cardi B is currently tangled right in the middle of. When you stack all of these puzzle pieces together, the picture is incredibly daunting. Cardi B is a woman balancing the highest grossing tour of her life. She is a mother of 4, including a newborn infant. She is dealing with the emotional whiplash of a high-profile NFL romance and breakup. She is managing the terror of having criminals hack her financial accounts and spend $60,000 in an hour. And she is watching the father of her eldest children get gunned down in a casino and labeled a rat by the new generation of drill rappers. When she sat on that Instagram live and looked into the camera, asking if she should take a break or crank back up, she wasn't asking a rhetorical question. She was issuing a cry for help. The music industry is a machine designed to extract every single ounce of soul, energy, and sanity from its greatest stars. It builds them up, places them on impossibly high pedestals, and then monetizes their inevitable psychological collapse. Cardi B's journey from the Bronx to reality television to the absolute pinnacle of global music dominance is one of the greatest underdog stories of the 21st century. She beat the odds. She proved the executives wrong. She sold out the Kia Forum. She suspended herself from the ceilings of arenas because she understood the assignment. But the bill always comes due. The Little Miss Drama tour might go down in history as a commercial triumph, but the behind-the-scenes reality is a cautionary tale. Superstardom is not just private jets and designer bags. Superstardom is having to look at your bank account and realize your own team might have sold you out. Superstardom is having to hire private military contractors to guard your bedroom door. Superstardom is having to perform a flawlessly choreographed dance routine while you mentally process the fact that your ex-husband was just wheeled out of an emergency room in Florida. So, where do we go from here? Does she take the break? If she steps away, she gives up the momentum. The industry is ruthless. They will replace her with the next viral sensation in a heartbeat. The Suits will find someone else to sell out 32 arenas. But if she stays, if she cranks back up, drops the next album, and books another 40 dates, does she risk losing herself completely? Does the paranoia consume her? Does the drama finally break Little Miss Drama? I want to pass the microphone over to you. I want to know what the real fans, the Day One Body Gang, actually think about this situation. Look at the fact we laid out today. Look at the timeline of the Stefon Diggs pregnancy. Look at the Jersey credit card heist. Look at the disrespect from Lil Tjay. Do you think Cardi B is secretly pregnant with baby number 5, playing a massive PR game with the blogs? Do you think the Offset shooting is going to escalate into a massive industry war? And most importantly, do you think Cardi B should walk away from a microphone right now and protect her peace? Or do you think she needs to put the crown back on her head and remind everyone who runs this industry? Drop your deepest theories, your honest opinions, and your absolute raw thoughts down in the comments right now. I am going to be reading every single one, pinning the most mind-blowing theories, and replying to as many of you as I physically can. This story is developing by the hour, and the minute a new update drops, we are going to be right here to break it down. If this deep dive opened your eyes to the reality of the music industry, smash that like button until it turns blue. Hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. The industry is always talking. The blogs are always lying. But the raw footage, the footage never lies. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the absolute next one. Stay safe, stay observant, and stay locked in.